Good evening, everyone. So today we are into a new session, Indian economy. Right? As you know, Indian economy falls in both preliminary and mains part. So today we start with the notion of both prelim cum mains, and we try to move on gradually in the next few months with respect to Indian economy. Right. So initially, to start with, we'll go with the basic syllabus, what you have. These are the only words which are provided as part of your preliminary syllabus. Economic and social development. And this economic and social development, they say, like or such as sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demography, social sector initiative, etc. Okay, so this is the only syllabus you have. But when you go into the previous year question papers, you can find that, to be frank, questions are largely aligned to this. Even if they are going to ask any social sector initiatives, it will be with respect to poverty, inclusion, or sustainable development, and kind of. And you can see demography where you have various surveys which are asked, like National Family Health Survey. There are many such surveys which they have asked, labor survey, employment survey, and so on. So, in this way, it is clear that we have questions dependent on these areas, but also the other areas like banking, okay, especially monetary, okay, so monetary region policies and so on. Apart from that, we have budget, that is public finance, okay. So in that region, we have a quite large number of questions. And apart from that, whatever may be the questions they ask, it's more into the basics, okay, or fundamentals. So that is really important. Whatever you try to learn, you try to have the fundamental idea behind that. Say, for example, in 2008, there was a huge meltdown, right, in the global economy. We call it a subprime crisis. Probably you would have come across, right? So in this subprime crisis, there were many things which were learned by the people, but they made it very simple. Okay. So what is GDP? What is growth rate? And with this too, they just tested you what is recession, what is meltdown, what is slowdown. Okay, it is just a match question. So they just gave the match. What is recession? Say fall in GDP, meltdown, crash in stock exchanges, slow down, growth rate slowing down. So likewise. So this is the issue which was so massive, but the question they asked was very, very simple. But major students got into trouble because they didn't actually understood what recession, meltdown, slowdown meant, but they went on for other aspects. Okay. So preliminary is on basics. So we need to be very, very specific about that. And that's the reason, and that too economy is full of basics and fundamentals. When you are strong there, questions are very, very easy, okay, to attempt. So as part of mains, it is much elaborated. Okay. So in mains, you have issues related to planning, mobilization of resources, okay, growth, development, employment. All these backgrounds with concepts and especially the current happenings. So what happened? What is the developmental issues we have? Employment issues we have, like this. And in these aspects, what are the inclusive growth concepts? Okay, as such, and issues arising when we try to provide inclusive growth or providing inclusive growth and so on. Then the budgeting part of the government, land reforms, liberalization and their effects, infrastructure development, investment models, and separately agriculture. Agriculture, you have three parts. One is the cropping pattern and other aspects of the cultivation part and storage part. Another one is the policies related to the subsidies. The other one is the missions and food processing. Okay, so 3 parts are there, and in these 3 parts, how things are happening with the current issues, the policy changes, any other issues, whatever it may be, everything will be dealt with. Okay, so preliminary also, you can take this as a guideline. Okay, anything with respect to all these, if there are some news or with respect to agriculture in this particular format, anything in PDS, anything with respect to food security, buffer stock, technology missions, say for example, new technology mission for oil palm has been introduced. So likewise, these can be reflecting in the prelims. Okay, so mains part also you can take up as a issue for prelims also. Clear? So in that way, you can have a broader scope on how the your answers are going to be. Clear? So this is a logic how you need to check out on part of your um, economy. Okay, syllabus for economy. Fine. So what to refer to start with? So as far as books and materials, yes, we have to start with NCERT. Yes, it's a basic norm, what we advise. In NCERT, we have Understanding Indian Economic Development and Macroeconomics. 2 books are there. Okay, so Understanding Indian Economic Development, and another one is Macroeconomics. So 2 NCERT books is enough. In case if you want much more clarity, you can refer your state, that is ACRT. Okay, so Tamil Nadu has also a good source of books in economy as well as commerce. So selected topics from those books you can read. Okay, it is also available in your mother tongue, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada. So in many other languages also there. So in case if you belong to that, you can also read them. So it appears to be a good source. Or else in case if you are state to which you are belonging, if they have their own SCRTs, you can read, because it will be simple. Here NCRT, the problem is that it will be more of economics, okay, than with economy, which we'll see. Whereas as far as the state sources are concerned, it is more type of what we need for the exam kind of. Okay, so it's don't worry that say if I'm going to read the state books, how it will be coming in UPSC kind of. We are going to understand only concepts, so not a problem. So for understanding the basic concepts, select some areas based on your class or notes or your syllabus. You try to get things out of it. Okay, so that is enough. So for basic to start with, and to pursue any book on Indian economy, okay, of your convenience. Okay, in market there is ample source of Indian economy. It's up to you. Okay, whether it is Datan Sundaram or Amazing or whatever it may be, it's up to you. You choose your own book. Okay, whatever it may be, the presentation is going to differ, but the content will be same.
So which one do you suggest?
See, what I read was Datan Sundaram, but I don't suppose now the mentality of people are not to that, right? Because it's a huge book, and they feel that it was not. Because my option at that time was history and public administration. So for public administration also, I used that particular book for Indian administration part. So I thought that will be better for me. So I read that book. Okay, only selected topics, not complete cover to cover. But nowadays, current trend is we have different books, right? So Ramesh Singh has some I mean Puri kind of, I forgot the name. So there are many books which are available in the economy sector. What you do, you try to just have some reference. So in internet also you have some content and kind of. So which book presentation is good for you, whether it is going to be font size or book size, whatever you prefer, you take it. It's not a big deal, because the content are all same. They are not differing in any content aspect. It's only presentation of the content is going to change. Okay, and don't try to buy edition after edition. Okay, economy will be kept on updating, no doubt, no problem in that. Okay, you are going to use the book only for the concepts, not for facts. Okay, so don't rely it on facts, because facts may change. The book would have been written the last year. Today, the facts may change. Okay, don't rely upon facts. Go with the concept. So, whichever book is comfortable to you in your, if it is in your language, mother tongue, then it's okay. It's up to you. Say the basic idea is you need to get the concept. That's all. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So you can prefer of your choice. That's the reason why I didn't prescribe any book. Okay, so you need a book. That's all. Then economic survey. Okay, because this Indian, why I'm not much stressing upon that, because in Indian economic textbook for mains, when you understood the economy, for mains you can just make up with the economic survey, budget, and newspapers. That itself is enough. Okay, enough sources there. And for other aspects you can just get from various sources in the current affairs. So for reading the basic concepts alone, you need this. Okay, don't buy dictionaries of economy. You are not going to do MA economics here or MSc economics here, right? So don't go for dictionaries and kind of, just a simple book which gives you what is inflation, how the inflation is related, what are the types, basic information, right? That's important. And then economic survey and budget. Okay, so all these will be updated yearly, so you need to get updated yearly. Okay, then other reports. Say sometimes there may be some committees which are appointed. The committees may be RBI committees or Government of India, whatever. So all these committee reports, significant committee reports, you may require. Okay. Apart from that, some international organization may provide some statistics. So that stat may be used. So what type of organization? If it is UN organization or any other body which is recognized by UN, Government of India. Okay. Private, you need not worry upon. You just leave it out. In government, you have Niti Aayog, ministries, many such organizations are there. They try to provide some information, basic information. Don't talk about growth rate and all. Say, for example, report on higher education. There will be some report on higher education from Niti Aayog. There may be from gender development report or empowerment report in UN. Okay, likewise, human development report. Like, so those type of reports with highlights which you have, you can take it for statistics and kind of. Okay, don't rely upon many other private organizations, institutions which come up. Don't worry, we need not worry about that. You need not learn them. Okay.
So how do we find out which report or which committee's report is important and which
See,
not?
whichever you find that largely discussed in the newspapers, those are all important, and that too recognized international organizations, right, or government organizations. Yeah.
Yes.
So that is how it is. So how you get it? You are going to get it only with the newspaper's intensity. How the newspaper is going to discuss. If they are not much popular or important, they won't have editorials on them. They don't have anything discussion triggered upon that particular survey. Okay. So usually UN organizations like United Nations, I mean. Conference on Trade and Development, or WEF, that is World Economic Forum, WTO, likewise. So you have list of organizations which you are familiar with, and we will also see. Okay, so those type of organization which you have more discussions in the newspaper, you try to use it. Otherwise, you just leave it. Okay, fine. So these are the basic sources. So these form the dynamic part. Okay, these form the conceptual part. That's clear. And we will also see how to
Sir,
use economic survey when
excuse
we
me, sir. Uh,
discuss.
excuse
Yeah,
me, sir. Could you please repeat the name of the book that you mentioned, the first book, Understanding
yeah.
Economics?
NCRT. Okay. So for NCRT, we have understanding Indian economic development. Another one is macroeconomics. Okay, these two books is okay. Fine.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
So got it? Fine. Okay, so now coming to the preparation part. So you would have wondered why the map is there. Okay, so anybody been to Chennai?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so one is there. Anybody else? Only one? Okay, fine. So how many of you, I mean, two people, they said yes. So in that case, whether you know the entire map of, places of Chennai, whether in case if I leave it, drop you in some place, in the southern part of Chennai, you can travel to northern part of Chennai.
No, sir, not really.
No. So actually, you would have gone to some place, right? Say, for example, you have gone to the state secretariat. Okay. So you want to go to state secretariat. You have just dropped in an, say, for example, a railway station or an airport or bus station, wherever it is. So what you would have done from the bus station or the place where you have been dropped, so you would have traveled to that particular destination, right? So from the place of origin to the place of destination, you would have known how to travel, in what mean you can travel, and then you would have traveled and returned back to your home, right? This is what you would have done. And when familiarity increases, there may be different routes by which you can reach the destination, right? So you would have followed one path, and then later, with some familiarity, you would have followed some other different path wherever you can divert. Okay, in case of any breakdown of communication or in case of any diversion, whatever it may be, you would have slowly gone. In case if you are going to explore more, then you may expand the map region, explore the region of the map, and you can just move around various places, right? This is exactly going to happen in economy. Okay, in economy, think if these are some of the concepts of economy. Okay, if the map is going to provide you different concepts of economy, right? If you are going to start here and you are going to move to this particular place, so you are moving in this particular direction. In newspaper, there may be some issues coming up here, here, and here. Don't worry about that. Okay, you don't worry about that. Rather, be calm. It is a network of what do you call a network of information which you are going to gather. So whatever basics you are trying to learn sincerely, with clarity. Slowly you will find a path which connects to this particular concept. Understood, everybody? So initially there will be an urge, because when we start with the economy, teaching some information, when you read newspaper, that will be something which is the next level or the last level of preparation. Those discussions will be there. Okay, immediately what you will feel, say we were preparing for economy, we are doing it in a longer time, say for example 10-15 classes have gone, but still I couldn't understand this particular concept, because the concept may be lying here, you are in this particular zone, right? So only when you slowly gain information, one about here, one about here. So today you may be dealing with income, tomorrow you may be dealing with say some other issue, and day after tomorrow some other issue, and slowly you will be pitching up things. And then when we try to interlink, you can get the entire map or network of economy. Okay, so till then you need to wait. So patience is virtue. Try to understand the linkages one by one. Okay, we try to link, no problem. So at the end of the day, whether you have really understood the economy or not, how to check it? It is a barrel system. You just enter with a concept. Okay, say inflation. You come out here with capital flight or flight of capital. So you travel along, you come out here. You start with GDP, you come out with trade imbalance. right? So when you try to travel along, you try to interconnect things, concepts, then the basics of economy is better understood by you. That is a test which you can always have. Yeah. So it's a barrel kind of. Anywhere you drop in, you can drop out. Yeah. So that ability you need to develop. For that, first you need to go with certain basic concepts where you need to involve in reading the basics with patience. Okay. So try to be patient in learning. Whenever we try to fix you with certain linkages, try to understand that linkages wherever it can go. Okay, because we are going to see various topics through the next 35 days. So in that way, we are every day we are going to introduce you with certain things. So whenever we try to link, you try to understand the linkage, where it can happen, how it can. That is the basic thing what you need to do. So try to be with the character of the child, where they try to be more inquisitive to learn and how to link things. This is a basic key for learning economy. If you become more anxious, what will happen? Discreetly you will learn. Okay, but when question tries to interlink something, say with current account deficit with inflation, current account deficit with exchange rate, current account deficit with something else, savings, you may not able to do. Why? Because you will know discreetly, but you may not know the interlinkage. Because of anxiety, we would have just gone too far in this particular aspect. Okay, so don't try to be anxious. This is the one problem what the student while initial preparation they will face. Okay, so that we try to avoid. Okay, fine. So first we go with the basic aspect of economy. See, economy is not a brainchild of a single person. Just he had some invention of economy and just gave like science. Okay. Say science is of inventions and discoveries, whereas economy is not of invention and discovery. It is of more an experience, communication, what we have, right? So how the economy would have started? So how all of a sudden the economy would have evolved? Okay. So when you go into the history of economy, when you talk about any aspect, the basic thing uh, had driven economy was the want. Want is what I need or wish. It is more than need, and it is a wish. Okay, so I want this. There is a difference between need and want. Okay, what is the difference between need and want? Need is something which is basic, essential. Want essential plus something else. Without that particular XYZ, you can live, right? Without need, you cannot live. Whereas without want, we can live, right? So this want can go beyond want to call it as desire. Okay. More than want, we call it as desire. Desire means longing for that. Okay. So I want an iPhone. So that's a want. Okay. A mobile phone may be a need. Okay. But iPhone may be a want. And desire may be today I need, tomorrow I need to purchase it. You try to have that particular anxiety to purchase immediately. That we call it as desire, right? And for economy, this desire is a basic fertilizing ground. Okay, only when you have desire, something has to be sold. Okay, so economy can thrive only with the desire. That's the reason why they try to kindle that particular desire within, right? Okay, so want. So when I have some want in the early stages of human evolution, what they want was, it was basic need. Okay, they had only need. Okay, but when they converted that need into want, say for example, I don't want to travel a long way to get some food. I want food without long journeys. Nomadic life should not be there. That is actually a want, right? So in that way, what happened? They invented tools. When they invented tools, they had more efficient gathering of food the food could be easily produced. They converted themselves into producers of food, right? So whatever I try to do, if I have if I have some want, naturally there is some effort which I have to provide. Understood? If I want to have that particular food, I need to develop a tool. For that, I need to have some efforts. It is very, very necessary. When I have some effort, automatically the effort will result in some production. Say what here I have produced a food, or I have produced some tools to get the food easily, something else. Okay, something would have been produced, right? Because I had a want, and successively I had the effort to achieve the want, I had some production. And this production, when is more for me, so when it is surplus, or if someone, some other people want it, I try to provide them, I share with you. Okay, I had a want, I produced something, now you are there, so I can provide you, thereby exchange comes in. And in this case only, we had the system of barter, exchange of goods. What I do, I have something. Similarly, you had some want, you had an effort, you had produced something. Okay. So I have a good, you have a good. So we exchange each other with the good. That's how the distribution happens. Yeah, the distribution happens. When distribution happens, when exchange of goods happens, naturally what it happens, we have consumption of goods, right? So what is consumption of goods? Consumption means we try to consume, we try to absorb that particular produce, right? In case if it is a food, we try to consume the food. So when you consume the food, okay, this food is very good, you have provided me, so I wish to have more, I call you and ask for more. Yesterday you gave me one, now I need 5, 10, and so on. So since there is a want, you have more efforts to produce, because previously you get provided only one, now you need to provide 5. So this is going to be a cycle in which this cyclic process started providing the cycle of economy. Understood? This is the very, very basic cycle. Even today it is. Maybe the what do you call the very basic, I mean, your perspectives may change, or your technologies may change, or the basic tools may change, but the basics is very same. There is a want even today. There is an effort to provide that want. We have some production, we have some distribution or exchange, we have some consumption. Clear? So this is how it is done. But how it evolved? First, it was only within the people. But after that, it started expanding itself from region to region, country to country, continent to continent. Thereby, various other aspects came in. Say, for example, if distribution, if you are just nearby, I can just walk and come, give and take back. If you are somewhere a longer distance, I need to have some mode of transport, means of transport. So for these 5 aspects, the allied aspects slowly started developing, and that is how the economy started to develop or evolve. Okay, and that's how we find different types of economies coming. Clear? Okay. So in this type of economy which we are discussing, in this evolution of economy had been in different phases. Say, I'm talking about from prehistoric times. So from prehistoric to modern times. Okay. So even in the prehistoric times, this is same. This is there. Okay. Till modern time. Even in the modern time, it is there. But the wants were different. Okay. And accordingly, there were some revolutionary aspect of evolution of economy. There were some revolutions. The first revolution which was created by human was the fire, the control of fire. Okay, so the control of fire was the first revolution of human, but it didn't have anything with economy as such. It had with the evolution of human. But as part of economy, the most important invention is agriculture. Agriculture really revolutionized people because whatever the basics what we have in economy, it started with agriculture. Whether it is going to be land as a private property, whether it is going to be the agriculture produce, or settlements which we have developed, or the cultural practices what we had, all other aspects were directly linked to agriculture. Okay, everything starts with agriculture. And for agriculture, iron is a basic revolution. So discovery of iron and invention of iron smelting methods. So in that way, iron implements, iron tools revolutionized agriculture, and iron implements itself revolutionized itself, because you can make non-agro production or come in with a new type of production called non-agro production, agriculture and non-agriculture production. Non-agriculture production is nothing but with your iron, crafts, metallurgy, weaponry, everything can happen. It revolutionized both agriculture and non-agricultural activities. Then we had mercantile, because when iron is there, we can travel from one area to another area using bullock carts. So you can have carts, you can have some mode of transport and kind of. So we started having what do you call mercantile aspect, that is trade. Though the mercantile is barter, okay. So predominantly barter trade. They started having storage facilities. They started having how to store, how to bring in a large amount of goods from one area to another area. All revolutions happened. And then we had commercial revolution. Here only we had money, banking, okay, early banking facilities, early money circulation, commerce, okay, the finance aspect of it, credit systems, all started with commercial revolution. With all these three, iron, agriculture, mercantile, and commerce, we had the industrial revolution. What is industrial revolution? Human effort is replaced with machine efforts, right? That we call it as industrial revolution. Reducing the human labor or effect of human labor and increasing the effect of machineries. That we call it as industrialization or industrial revolution. This industrial revolution was in 5 phases, or this is going to happen in future. Okay. As of now, we have 4. 5th is in future, near future it is going to happen. The first revolution, the first phase, which happened in the 18th century, the early half of 18th century, was the power source. Say, human have power, right? Or at least horse had power. That's the reason we had everything in horsepower, right? So what is horsepower? Horsepower means we used a horse for various other activities where it can replace human, right? Say pulling the cart. Previously, human labor has to be employed. Now they have made it into horse. So everything was converted into horse. So this horsepower has to be converted or transformed into some other power. So what power we can have? At that time only there were inventions and discoveries with respect to steam. James Stephenson, Hawkins, and there are many other inventors who gave much about steam. So steam power was discovered. So the power of steam was discovered. And then how to use coal mining techniques using iron. So iron furnaces. So there are many such things which were upcoming. So ultimately we could find a power source. So when power source came in, the revolution started with textiles, with transport, with mining, shipping, especially with shipping, because steam engines were put in use. Railways were started. So they started to use coal, iron, and steam. Now the problem is the want extends now. See, putting the coal, burning it, getting the steam, it's a very tedious process. whether it can be replaced, whether that powertrains can be replaced. Yes, the powertrains were replaced with IC engines, with oil, diesel and petrol. Similarly, electric power was also invented. So ultimately what happened, we started having the next level of development. So from transport upgradation, the electric power even channelized industrial development, because now you, instead of carbon lamps, you had electric bulbs, right? Machines, IC engines. When engines started running, power looms come in, where they try to use mechanized power looms. So production increased, productivity increased. So automatically human power went in. Large amount of human power came in, more production happened. But now, what I think, managing human is a very, very tough job, right? So you can see in public administration, various theories will be there. So what I thought, why can't I automize? Okay, the human has to bring that particular product to one end to the another end. How can I move automatically? For that, electronics developed, chips and other things developed. Similarly, IT and computers, and for computers we had IT, for IT we had electronics. So all these combined together, we had automation revolution. We started having more of automatic processes, right? Now with automatic processes, we try to make the machines more smarter, right? How? Now at present, what you are experiencing is one where you have artificial intelligence. Now we can find the Internet of Things, right? We have cyber physical systems. All these are networking of smart machines using artificial intelligence, right? Tomorrow, in future, we will have, now you are networking the machines. Tomorrow you will have human and machine working together with some interactions, right? That is what you are going to have the 5.0. Okay, so the 5.0 is nothing but the human machinery interactions which are going to happen in near future with advanced technologies. Whereas now you are introducing with artificial intelligence, cloud computing, deep learning, machine learning, and so on. All these are making machines smart, right? So these two we call digital revolution. So 4 and 5 we call digital revolution, right? Whereas the third one, we call it as knowledge revolution, because here knowledge becomes more important. Clear? So knowledge becomes more important. So here it is more of mechanical revolution, whereas here it is more of knowledge revolution. Here it is more of digital revolution. Understood how the industry 1.0 to 5.0 is, and how we were increasing our wants. It's all increasing wants, efforts, production, consumption. So it's a continuous process. So from mere an agricultural economy, we are now moving towards economy 5.0, industrial revolution 5.0. How? Because of wants. Through for these wants, we had certain inventions, discoveries, research, development, put in technologies, assemble things together. Everything happened in that particular way. Clear? Any doubt up to this?
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
Fine. So this is a term which you come across in newspapers frequently as of now. Okay, if they ask about industry 1.0, 4.0, 5.0, this is how it begins with. Yeah. Okay. So you had more with what do you call the different types of evolution of economy, right? So in this, we try to split some your words. Okay, so some words have to be understood. So we use the word economy. Clear? But there is some word called economics. There is some word called economic, and there is a word called economical. and there is one called economic activity. Okay. So we need to understand all these four books, because what we are studying now is economy. What your books generally are economics. So what is the difference between economy and economics? Economy means it is a study of the interrelation, what we saw, the production, distribution. In the first set you read, right? This part. Okay. So here you try to read the interconnection. So how the want is interconnected with efforts, how it is interconnected here in this aspect. Okay. So all these we try to, what to do? We try to study. That we call it as economy. Okay. Fine. In this way, if I am going to talk about, say, for example, how much resource I need to allocate for efforts, how much resource I need to allocate for production, how much resource will be distributed. So if I'm going to study about allocation of resources and various aspects of how economy operates. So economy means the interconnectivity of all these aspects. When I study how it operates and I try to find how the resources are being allocated, and I try to find they're working with certain principles, rules, law, and so on, then I call it as economics. What is economics? Economics is all about understanding the operation of economy through principles, rules, or laws, for understanding how allocation of resources are done for various economic precepts or elements, right, or components, whatever it is. And this economics can be seen in two formats. One is microeconomics, another one is macroeconomics. Micro means at the minute level, micro level. Okay, macro means at the larger level. Say when I talk about income, when I talk about income of a single person, when I talk about income of a nation, then income of a nation is macroeconomics, income of a person is microeconomics. Clear? Income of a person talks about microeconomics. Income of a nation becomes macroeconomics. So anything which you talk about at the national level or a larger group or a larger region, then we call it as macro. Micro means it will be minute aspect. Then we call it as micro. Clear? So we are largely concentrating on macroeconomy of the system rather than microeconomy for the purpose of civil services. Clear? So that is the reason we call it as Indian economy, the book on Indian economy. Your book sources are not economics. Your book sources are economy, because we are only talking about interrelations. We are not going to talk about much of principles, rules, laws, and so on. Right? Fine. Then the next thing what we saw is economic, right? Economic and economical. What is economical? Economical means the economical way of doing thing. That means you try to save something. So economical purchase of that particular good. Okay, so that means it is going to be saving some money. Economic aspect is how finance is going to work in this particular way. So what is the aspect of money here? How much money I have to spend? It talks about the economic aspect of it. Okay, whereas here it talks about how you save. Whereas here it is about profits. Okay, so economic aspect of this particular activity, the economic activity, that means I am talking about some getting some profit. I'm doing something, whether I get profit or not. So I will try to think in that way. Whether I am talking about economical aspect of the activity, then whether I can save money of this, say you need to say, you say you need this particular raw material. I am bringing this, whether it is economical way of bringing this particular raw material to this particular place. I think it is costlier, right? It's not economical. That means you try to save money. Clear? And then you have economic activity. What is economic activity? Any activity which is done for getting some money or for some profit, or you try to provide some services for getting money. That we call it as economic activity. Economic activity means something which we expect from someone to get money from them. Okay, that we call it as economic activity. Understood? Economy, economics, economic, economical, economic activity. Clear? Any doubt on this?
So,
sir.
can you explain economic and economical again?
Say economic, say simple. You need to bring raw material from point A to point B. Okay. So you can bring it through railways, you can bring it through roadways, you can bring it to many other way. What is the economical way of transporting this good from point A to point B? That means economical in the sense I am thinking about how to save the money. So this mode, aircraft means 1000 rupees, railways means say 50 rupees, roadways means 75 rupees. So economical way is to send by railways because it is only 50 rupees. Understood? Whereas economic means whether I am doing a business X, whether doing this business X is profitable or not. What is economic about this particular business? Whether I get some benefit out of it or not. That I call it as economic. And that is the reason why we call it as economic activity. An activity which brings in money. That is economic. Understood?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So this is all about the 5 different words. So based on this economic activity, we have the sectors. Okay, in economy we have different sectors. The sectors are classified in 3 different modes. One, based on activity, that is the economic activity. Number 2, the work nature. Okay, so how the work is. Number 3, how the ownership is. Okay, how the ownership is. So sectors can be classified as economic sectors based on activity, based on work nature, and based on ownership. Based on economic activity, we classify them into 5 parts. We have primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, quaternary sector, and quinary sector. So what is that? Primary sector deals directly, or it depends directly on natural resource. Okay, so primary sector is a sector which directly depends on natural resource, say agriculture, agriculture allied activities, mining, forestry, minor forest produce. All these directly depend on nature, without which it cannot be done. That we call it as primary activity. Whereas secondary activity is something which it involves manufacturing. Okay, you produce something using industries, factories, and so on. Tertiary, you try to provide some services. Okay, you try to provide some services. That is, it may be some production of service, and try to provide some aspect for as consumption for the other population. Okay, so it is services like IT service, banking service, financial service, and so on, right? If the tertiary sector is going to be specialized, okay, and they are going to be decision makers, okay, then we differentiate them as quaternary and quinary. Okay, quaternary means certain sectors which are having some specialized character, which has some what do you call that, ability to have more specialization and more knowledge based. Okay, so that we call it as quaternary. Whereas quinary, they will be the top decision makers. They will be the one who provide the path. Okay, that we call it as quinary. So tertiary and quaternary may be interlinked. Okay, both are somewhat similar. Whereas quinary, it is completely different. It is more of a niche area where you have only advisories or decision makers, opinion builders, and so on. Primary is going to be red collar job. We call it as red collar job. Secondary, blue collar job. Tertiary and quaternary, white collar job. Whereas quinary is a gold collar job. Okay, because it's something very prestigious. Okay, being prestigious. Say acting as a advisor to some larger body, a multinational company. So it's a quinary service. It will be highly demanded, very nuanced, niche. Very few people will be there. So that region we call it as quinary service. Whereas quaternary is similar to tertiary. It's service sector only, but in service sector it will be more specialized kind of. Clear?
Excuse me,
So,
sir.
yeah.
So can you give me the example of quaternary and quinary? Specific example.
Say simple. Quaternary is something which you have R&D, scientists and so on, right? Who try to provide, scientists in the sense, don't think about laboratory scientists, the research and developers who try to do away with the big data analytics and try to suggest something. So those type of jobs in service sector. And quinary is something like what I said as advisors, say legal, I mean consultants. So they'll be at the top level. They will be a business head of mostly a head decision making kind of CEOs, like that level. Say for example, Lehman Brothers. You are trying to be an advisor in Lehman Brothers. That's a quinary job, right?
Okay.
So it's going to be the highest aspect what we are, right? Understood how the five are differentiated, and this is how we have different types of jobs what we have. And based on work, say work nature, that is whether you are organized or not. Organized in the sense your sector is organized or not. You have a structure for it. You have some apex organization, you report something, you have a general structure of the entire organization, then we call it as unorganized. If not unorganized, say for example, banking. So you are in banking sector. So banking sector is organized sector. Why? Because you have RBI, behind RBI you have a set of banks, different classification of banks, which are classified in turn into various other banks. There are other classifications also. So you have some hierarchy put in place. So it's a organized kind of. Say for example, if it is going to be pawn shops, pawnbrokers and kind of, they are unorganized credit systems. Okay, this is an organized credit system, whereas here it is unorganized credit system. So there will be unorganized pawnbrokers, credit providers, so on. So that we call it as unorganized system based on working. In India, this is one of the highly, highly found systems. Say for example, migrant workers, laborers, they find largely in unorganized way, right? Then the ownership of asset. Say for example, it may be public. What is public? It will be the government which is going to own. Whereas private, it is going to be the private party which is going to own. So it may be public sector, private sector, organized sector, unorganized sector with other sectors, right? A primary sector can be organized as well as unorganized, public as well as private, right? A secondary, organized, unorganized, public, private. So everything can be mixed together. Understood? Any doubts here?
So,
Okay, fine.
so,
Yeah.
so am I audible?
Yeah.
So will chief economic advisor come under quinary sector?
Yeah, it is. But actually, it is a public generally we don't classify them under in that particular way. But anyway, their profession is in this way
Okay, sir.
because they are in the public organized sector. So we don't call them in that way, but their profession is that, right? So it's a culinary service.
Okay, sir.
Anything else? Okay. Then in this, what we saw, that is different type of sectors or different types of evolution of economies. In all these aspects, what we try to have is some production, some distribution, some consumption, right? What they actually produce, either we produce goods or we produce services. Either it's agriculture goods or manufactured goods or some services which are provided, right? So here you have primary and secondary. Here you have tertiary, quaternary, and quinary services, right? So all these goes in. So when you call goods the physical production, we can call it as free goods and economic goods. What is free goods? Free goods are goods which are available at free of cost for everybody, and it is consumable by everybody. Say, for example, natural resource. Okay, you can consume it anytime. You can get it free of cost also. Say, for example, economic. It is through some economic activity. You do some business. You do some agriculture or manufacturing, whatever it may be, through some economic activity, you get that particular goods. Then we call it as economic goods. These goods will be purchased for a particular cost, right? Then some goods will be public, some goods will be private. Public means the general public, the entire larger public will consume. Private means individuals will purchase and consume. Okay. Then public also can purchase, but it will be the public good is something which is for everybody. Say public distribution system, it is a public good because it will be consumed by large general public. Whereas private means it will be a retailer where you purchase for a particular kind of, and then you try to. Okay. Fine. Then we have something called as consumer goods and capital goods. What is the consumer goods? Consumer goods is consumed by a individual or a group of people, whereas capital good will not be directly consumed by the people. So here it will satisfy the want, whereas here it won't satisfy the want. Say, for example, I want to buy a car. If car is there, the car is a good and car is a consumer good. Okay, whereas to build a car, I need some machinery. That machinery is capital. Okay, so machinery doesn't come under consumer good because you are not going to consume the machinery. You are going to consume only the car, which is produced by the machinery. Okay, so in that way, the machinery becomes a capital good through which the consumer goods are produced. Okay, some goods are perishable, which will decay or damage within a short span, whereas something are durable, which is more. Say, for example, consumer goods which are perishable, vegetables, example. Consumer goods which are durable, say television, sofa sets, and so on. They are durable. Once you get it, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, you can use. But it is used by the consumer. Okay. So capital which is perishable, say for example, you get raw materials for your company. It's a capital, but it is perishable. Say because it is an agro product. You are a manufacturer of a squash or a juice. So you have a raw material which is perishable. There are raw material which is durable. Say for example, machineries which may be durable capital. So usually we call consumer goods as durable goods or consumer durables or consumer goods which are perishable. So these are different types of goods which we produce. The same way we have services. Services are intangible. You can't actually feel that. I mean, you can't actually see it. Say for example, software. I produce a software and give it to you. You can't see the software, right? So it is intangible. And heterogeneous. What is heterogeneous? It can be produced for various regions by various people at various time. It is time scalable, space scalable, everything. So it is heterogeneous and inseparable. Say for example, you have an example called labor laborer. Who is a laborer? One who produces labor or provide labor. Okay. You cannot separate labor and labor. Correct. So laborer and labor cannot be separated. They are inseparable. Because only when laborer is there, he can provide you the labor. Clear? So they are inseparable. They are perishable because, say for example, you use a ticket. You purchase a ticket for a cinema. After entry and exit of that particular theater, that ticket is useless because that service has been completed, consumed. So the services are perishable. They are they can be done away with a particular period of time. Understood? So a software can be perishable. How? With a particular time, it may work. After that, it may not work. The service ends. So you need to pay again. The service will be continuous. Okay, internet service. It is perishable. How? Only when you pay for that time, it will be available. After that, it will perish. And then again, you will be consumed. Okay, so this is the nature of services what we have. Understood? How the goods and services are? Okay. So we have seen what is an economy, how the economy has evolved, and how the economy has different activities, and based on them what they do, classify, and then what they produce. Clear? That is goods and services. Clear? Fine. Now what we try to do, we understand what political economy means. Okay, what is a political economy? Say we have goods and services. At the end of the day, in any economy, you are going to provide goods and services. That is the idea, right? Because either agriculture economy or 5.0, you are going to provide goods and services. Understood? Yes. Now, what goods or services I should produce? How this particular goods and services have to be produced? For whom it is going to be produced? Clear? There are three basic questions in the economics. What, how, for whom should we produce? The answer to this determines what economy you are. Okay. Say for example, you ask the question, what should be produced? What you like, you produce. How should you produce? How you like, you produce. For whom should we produce? It is your wish. It is your like. To whom you want to sell, you sell. Okay. Then we call it as free market economy. Okay, we call it as free market economy. What is that? Because you are free to produce whatever goods or services. You are free to produce in the method you like. You are free to produce goods to sell for any person whom you wish. Right? So no restrictions are going to be there in this particular case by the government. The government doesn't have any restriction over these three questions. Then we call it as free market economy, because market is a place where you are going to buy and sell. In that particular place, nobody is going to question you. So then we call it as free market economy. But on the other hand, contrary, we have the question, what should we produce? What I tell you produce. How should I produce? What I tell you produce. How you are going to, for whom you are going to produce, I will tell to whom you are going to produce. So everything I will tell. Accordingly, you are going to do. That we call it as controlled economy. Okay, we call it as controlled economy. Accordingly, if state is controlling, then state controlled economy, right? So free market economy means what the market says, demands, you do it. Okay, what the government says, you do it. That is controlled economy. So these are the two extremes what we have. Clear? These are the two extremes what we have. In between these two extremes, there are different types of political economy. One, we call it as capitalism. right? Now what we call it is welfare capitalism. Then the extreme part, we have communism, right? The state control will be extreme. Yeah. In between, we have what India has, democratic socialism. We neither have free market nor we have controlled market. Okay, so it is in between. Though economy is more towards this particular scale. Say, for example, if I am going to, this is free market and this is a controlled economy, and this is going to be the middle path. Indian economy is in this particular stage. Okay, it is almost near the free market. Okay, US may be almost near it. Okay, though it is not a completely free market, it is, say, for example, 90%. You can't just mention in percentage just to understand 90%. India may be, say, 80%. Clear? So that is how. Whereas China may be 100% state controlled or 80% state controlled in this side. China will be here. Clear? Understood? Fine. So now the political economy depends upon the culture, the history, the geography, the political aspect of a particular country. It depends upon them. Which is right, which is wrong, that is different. That is up to the debates of how the people perceive it. But the idea is whether private and public exist in all markets, whether it is capitalism, whether it is communism, or whether it is democratic socialism, as what we say, whether private and public exist everywhere. It exists everywhere. Even in USA, public corporations exist. Even in China, private corporates exist. In India, both public and private exist. Almost in all economies at present, they are mixed economies. What we call it as mixed economies, the coexisting of both public and private, we call mixed economies. Whether only few economies are mixed? No. All economies are mixed economies. There is nothing called as fully public, fully private, right? Even in China, we have private property, private companies. Even in US, we have public corporations. So both are there. So in that case, all economies are termed as mixed economies. Understood? So this is what it is very important to be understood. Yeah. So this is point number one. Then point number two. So on part of political economy, when we call everything as mixed economies, whether there is a blend of ideologies. Yes, almost there is no pure capitalist economy. There is no pure communist economy. Existed. There is no pure socialist form of economy which exists as of now, right? So we have that mixture of political economy also. Say, for example, capitalism as welfare capitalism. What is welfare capitalism? Is a mix of some socialistic principles as welfare in the capitalism. Same way in communism or socialism, or communism doesn't exist. So socialism, when you put it as, we call it as market socialism. Okay, there is a term called market socialism. So what is market socialism? Market socialism is the one which we try to have a kind of the free market economy slightly induced in socialistic pattern of economy. Okay, socialistic economy. So there are almost all economies are mixed and all economies are having not, there doesn't exist the purest form. So generally the nascent form doesn't be stable. Okay, whether it is oxygen or whether it is going to be political economy. So almost they are going to be having, they need to have some stability. To have some stability, they have blending of economic ideas. Okay, so that is what you need to understand. Yeah, fine. Now, coming to this. Now, we need to understand that in this scenario, we understood all these factors, right? So now you know what goods and services, why the goods and services are produced, because it is wants. Who wants it? The household wants it. Okay, who will produce it? The firms are going to produce it. Yeah, the firms are going to produce it. And you know how the firms are going to produce. If the firms are going to produce, decide on their own, they are going to be called as free market economy. It is done by the state, then it is controlled economy. Okay, so that's how it is. So I'm not going much deeper into political economy as of now. Clear? So since the households demand, okay, so here we use the word, I'm introducing a word, demand. Okay, so they demand and they supply. Okay, what does this demand mean? This is the basic aspect. The balance, the entire economy, okay, whatever you learn, the entire economy lies up with demand and supply. Okay, because first you understand demand. What is demand? Demand means desire or the want plus, okay, you should have the desire, basically want or desire, plus purchasing power. Another term, purchasing power. What is purchasing power? Ability to purchase. You have money to purchase. Okay, so desire with purchasing power is called as demand. If either of the one is not there, we don't call it as demand. Say for example, I may wish to have a Rolls Royce. That is a desire. Whether I have the ability to purchase that particular Rolls Royce. If not, my desire may not convert into a demand. The company will not consider me as a customer, right? I may have a purchasing power. I have say 2 crore in cash, but I don't have any desire to purchase Rolls Royce. Then I may not be termed as a demand. So I need to have my desire. I need to have the purchasing power or ability. Then only I will be called as demand. Okay, my presence will be called as a demand, right? That is very, very important. So demand. Naturally, a demand will be provided with the supply, because when I ask for, when I just raise my hand, some supplier will come. They will ask me what they need. I will say they will supply. Balancing this demand and supply is very, very important. Okay, balancing this demand and supply is very, very important. How this demand and supply is met out with money? Money we will see separately. Okay, demand and supply is met with money. Unfortunately, money is finite, right? Supply is finite. You cannot produce more, but demand is infinite. Clear? The demand, especially the desire, is infinite. Okay, so this is a problem. So when demand increases, corresponding increase in supply and money may not happen. Automatically there will be some imbalance. Okay, there may be some imbalance. When there is an imbalance, there comes the need to balance this particular activity. Okay, all your economic activity is done by various institutions doing that, including the government, public, private, everybody does the same thing. You also do the same thing. You have certain demands, you have certain restrained supply, you have certain restrained money within which your demands are met. You try to balance yourself. That is personal economy. Learning economy is more personal. When you understand the personal economy, the economy on the nation side is very simple, right? So basically we try to balance these aspects. Clear? Fine. So household demands and their supply. How they can supply? They need to produce. For production, they need industries. How industries are being created? Through factors of production. What is that factors of production? That is, they need land, right? They need capital. They need raw material. Clear? They need labor. Correct. They need what do you call entrepreneurship or organization. All these are required. When all these are there, then only the firm can establish an supply chain, right? So then only they can. From where the supply, I mean, these factors are provided. Factors of production, how they, the factors means they are the one who supply the firms with certain basic requirements of the firms. How these factors of production is provided? The factors of production is provided by the households. How one of the household will provide, go as a labor, right? Laborer. One of the household will give credit. One of the household will have land. They will try to lease out the land likewise. Okay. So one of the household will establish that particular company. Okay. So the households will provide the factors of production and the firms will try to use the, that is means of production. What is means of production? How you are going to produce using land, capital, labor, how you produce this. That is machinery, the instruments of production. Means of production means instruments of production. Okay, means of a means through which you produce a good. Okay, the means of production will be controlled. Who controls it? If the firms control it, it is capitalism. If the government controls it, it is going to be state controlled economy. Clear? Means of production. So using these factors of production, I try to produce the goods and they are going to consume the goods. Understood? Fine. But both the sets involve money. This also involves money. This also involves money. How? For land, I need to give rent. For capital, I need to provide interest. For raw material, I need to purchase them, right? And then what do you call labor? I need to provide wage. Organization needs profit. So all these have some expenditure. The firm has to spend on all these. Okay, they are having some expenditure. But what type of expenditure it is? It is called as investment expenditure. Why? I am investing. Why I call it as investment? Investment means I will have some return. Okay, what return I have? Here I have the return because what I spend here, I will get the return. Only with this spending, I will get this income. Otherwise, the goods may not be produced, so I will not get income. So I produce the goods. For producing the goods, I am investing something on the factors of production. Whereas, just because you sell your labor, just because you provide your land, all these wages, rent, interest rate, the purchase of raw material, profits, everything are acquired by this households as income because they are providing these factors of production, right? What they do with this income, they consume the particular products. That I call it as consumption expenditure because I consume. Once I consume, it is finished. Say, for example, I purchase a chicken, right? I purchase, say, chicken, a tandoori chicken. I eat it, consume it. Then it is a consumption expenditure because I provided 200 rupees. I purchased tandoori chicken. I consumed it. That's all. 200 rupees gone waste, right? Similarly, I purchase a chicken, live chicken for 100 rupees. I raise it. I sell it for 200 rupees. I get 100 rupees profit. That I call it as investment expenditure. Okay, so that 100 rupees I call it as investment expenditure. Understood? So consumption expenditure, the output will not be there. That is, return will not be there. Whereas investment expenditure, I will get back that particular money with some profit. Clear? So this is a basic idea how this cycle operates. So in general, what happens? The income of this household comes from the expenditure of the firms. The expenditure of the household comes as investment to the firms, right? So the total income will be equal to total expenditure, because if he is spending 100 rupees, that is the income. If this 100 rupees is going to be there, this 100 rupees will be consumed. This 100 rupees will be coming. This is how the cycle operates. If this 100 rupees is got, but it is not spent, what will happen? There is no demand. Okay. Then automatically the income cuts off. When the income cuts off, the investment expenditure cuts off. When investment expenditure cuts off, further, no demand. Further, no demand. Further, no income. Further, no investment expenditure. Further, no income. So that will come down. That we call it as business cycle. We call it as recession and so on. That we'll see later. Okay. So this is the basic aspect how this particular investments, expenditure, and consumption pattern is working on. Understood? Any doubt on this?
No, sir.
Others? So basically, understand that in this particular economy, how it operates, it is total income is equal to total expenditure. Clear? So this is how it, and basic economy, demand and supply operates. Clear? So how to increase this particular income? So because you can see that when some income is stopped, everything stops. Okay, so now everything has 100 rupees. Now I need to make it as 110 rupees or 200 rupees. How to make it as 200 rupees? That is how the role of the government comes in. If not, we call it as external investment. Someone who is not in this 4 aspects.
It can also be a bank, right?
Anybody who is not here. Okay, it may be household or it may be firm. Among these two, they have invested. So some other who is going to come out of this particular cycle and invest, then only this particular investment will pick up. Otherwise, it will be stagnant. Okay. If government is providing some money, okay, through various institutions like banks or something else, then we call it as closed economy, because nobody else newly provide some input, okay, or investments. Only within this particular system, the investment is going on. Within the system, government exists. Government has some money. That money is provided. That's all. So the government tries to provide another 100 rupees. So now it is 200 rupees. So they can have more investments coming on in this way. Okay. But here the question comes, where the government should give money? Whether it should give money to the firms, or whether it should invest here, or invest here, or invest here. Anywhere they can invest. Accordingly, the impact will be there. Okay. Sometime we will invest directly with the household. We give them money directly in their pocket. Sometimes we give money to the firms to generate more investment expenditure. Sometimes the government itself will create a demand by purchasing goods and services, right? Or government will try to provide some raw material kind of, so factors of production. So anywhere the government can provide, but accordingly the impact will be there. That will see later. Okay, this we call it as closed because the government alone provides money. Okay, government also has no money now. Everything has been invested. Now from 100 we have come out to 1000, right? Again, standstill. What will happen? We have to purchase from, get money from abroad. That we call it as foreign direct investments, or foreign, whatever it may be. So we put it as foreign investments. Okay. So from foreign country, some investments have been pulled down. Then that type of economy is called as open economy. Open economy means this economy will be linked to some other external economy, where thereby some investments and other aspects can come in. that will be called as an open economy. In this open economy, the advantage is not only the investment, the firm can also set in another same cycle with another country. Clear. So here there may be some household, they will try to get some factors of production goods and so on. They will have their own cycle. Clear. Households also will have the other firms there, and they will have their own cycle. Clear. So that network will be created. That means it is an open economy. Here, this is a symbol of closed economy. Clear? Done?
Yes.
So just have this picture, fix this picture with a firm here. Okay, you try to imagine another picture where firm connects here. Okay, here household connects here. So this is America, this is say Africa. So you try to have a link. That we call it as an open system. That is open economic model. Okay. So today we will stop here. So tomorrow we will start from this. We will talk about other macroeconomic, how banks come in, why banks come in, how it all happens. So we will talk more on this. Okay, and then we'll move on for national income and so on. Clear? So any questions you can ask me now. Thank you.